Hello and welcome, Exiles, to my final Leaguestart test, this time with a Frostblades Trickster. Why Frostblades? Why Trickster? So to start things off with, if you look at my tree, you're going to notice there's a lot of masteries. So right out the gate, Polymath gets insane value. And this isn't value where I'm specifically forcing in masteries. Like, it's not a matter of, oh, I picked Polymath, so let me pick as many masteries as possible. No, this build literally wants these masteries to begin with. All of the masteries I am picking up are very, very high value. So it's a matter of, this is a build just pairs really well with Polymath because of how naturally it picks up these masteries. I think I have close to 15 masteries, which is 45% more damage and 15% recover for ES, life, and mana on kill. If you're mapping with this, it feels disgusting. Basically, I had a character that doesn't have Corrupted Blood immunity. I don't have any really good phys mitigation for Corrupted Blood. And I don't think I died to Corrupted Blood once, even though I noticed it on my character multiple times, because I would just be mapping, and I'd be instant filling up my entire EHP pool to full, just running through packs, weirdly enough. I think I came close to dying to Corrupted Blood a couple times when there weren't monsters nearby type of thing, but this sustain is on another level for mapping. It feels really good. If you never play with a Trickster, I can highly recommend it. It will keep you at full pretty much the entire time you're mapping. The only time you come to not being full is when you get to a really juiced rare that's got like Soul Eater with a big HP multiplier. It's got like cycling damage reduction. It's got whatever that's specifically mitigating your build to make it way more tankier than everything else. That's the only time Polymath starts to fall off and it feels good. But on top of that, we have Overleech Sustain from Soul Drinker. We have Instant Leech for mana, life, and ES. And on top of that, we have Ghost Dance with good evasion. So our sustain is very good. For this character, I was able to just base tank Black Star, and I don't know if you've done many SSF fresh starts all the way up to Black Star, but that's a hard fight to face tank when your gear is completely basically potato, and I could actually do it with this character, so it felt really good in that regard. Probably the best defensive character I've played so far. And the funniest part about that is I don't even have one of my best portions of my defensive layer. Right now, I'm running Purity of Elements solely to cap my cold res. You'll notice I dropped Purity of Elements, and I'm just a bit undercapped. Obviously, I'm overcapped for lightning. In a trade league, I just go get a res convert, and I change one of my lightning res to cold res, and I'd be fine. And when I do that, I could go to Grace, which would take me from 10k to 25,000 evasion. That's a huge difference, especially when you get into maps and you start being able to proc your flasks like your Jade and your flask that has evasion rating. We go up to 37k. While you're mapping, 37k evasion is mint. It feels fantastic. So the little long story short is the defensive layers on this, I love them, and if I got into Grace, I then would feel comfortable going for a Wind Dancer to start mitigating those heavier phys attack based hits, but we just didn't quite get there with the res on Purity of Elements, so we're using this for now just because I didn't quite get the correct balance of res, and that's what it is. It's okay. Not the end of the world. The build still feels very, very good in maps. It has Lucky Suppress with 62 suppression chance. This would be this is with the suppress while ES is full, which is ES is full most of the time, but this would actually be closer to 77 had I not gotten this ES pair of gloves. I felt like I should swap to this ES pair of gloves just because it had phys converted to lightning to help me convert that last portion of phys to lightning. But now that I look at my claw isn't even that much phys damage, so probably I shouldn't have cared so much about this, and I should have kept my evasion gloves, because ultimately I wanted to have 15 suppress from the mastery here, which is a very large amount of suppression to have, especially when you consider Lucky Suppress being 70% plus on your suppress with Lucky is 90% effective suppress, so it feels really, really clean for mitigation there. So I'm a little bit down about that, but it's okay. Needless to say, that's kind of the setup of this character. We're also running with a Trinity support, Nightblade and Frostblade, and increased crit. Eventually, if you get a really good claw and you get like better scaling in your tree, you know, you start getting a quality on your Assassin's Mark where you get crit chance from your power charges because you actually can generate those. I only dropped like 2 gem cutters, so I couldn't even get the first quality to have 1% chance to get power charge on hit or whatever. Stuff like that you miss out on, but it's okay, because we also have Nightblade, which gives really good damage avoidance. It gives like 15% at base to avoid all damage. At 200% elusive effect, you have like 30% chance to avoid all damage. So that all pairs nicely with this character defensively. And to top it all off, I randomly hit Fortify on one of my Eldritch Implicits, and surprisingly, I'll showcase in the map, I have like 20 Fortify stacks the majority of the time I'm playing the character. Even on bosses, I have pretty decent Fortify uptime. So it's pretty weird to me to have a character that's a Trickster evasion energy shield base and I'm getting good Fortify uptime with just 6% chance to grant Fortify on hit. I'll showcase it and you'll make judgments for yourself, but I was actually kind of surprised it had good uptime on that. So anyways, this is the character. It's not particularly well geared. It's on a 4-link. Let's go ahead and jump in a race course map with minus max res. Honestly, minus max res, screw it. I'm putting on Grace for this run. I'm doing it. I mean, that's basically what my cold res is at anyways. Why not? Have a little fun with it. Just to give you guys a feeling of what the build looks like while we're mapping with this character. I like this character a lot. I don't, maybe patch notes has a huge buff for it. I like it a lot, and it scales really well if you start getting into, I've seen people do like a heat shiver yoke of suffering combo, which I love that combination with Trinity, and you go phys claw with like a flat cold damage roll, and you go phys to cold conversion, you go hatred instead of wrath. I think that works great on a trade league. On SSF, I couldn't rely on heat shiver being a thing, so I went for tri-elemental with like hit wrath for the flat damage, because that just felt like that was more of a, what's the word, achievable thing to get, like an acquirable or whatnot. And you'll see here, if you look at our Fortify stacks, we're at 20, and it'll be pretty consistent as we go through the mapping process. Every time we hit that 6% Fortify, it'll shoot us back to full, and it'll be quite good feeling. Every time I play Trickster, I am more and more convinced it has one of the best feeling defensive kits. I know people are armor Andes, and they think it's the best thing ever, but I really, really do not believe in a softcore environment. I will give it to you in a hardcore where you can't have the one death like that, where you die to a phys hit that randomly gets you through whatever it is. I will give it to you. It's not going to be hardcore viable, but when it comes to a softcore where you can handle just an occasional random death because you got a phys attack that gets through whatever it is, yeah, that happens. Oh man, that's really awkward timing. I'm talking about my defenses and then die to something. I don't even know what it was. I wasn't really looking at my screen too intently. Maybe it was a corpse explosion or something. I don't know. But then I guess it's death number 19 for me as I'm like talking it up. I deserve that a little bit just for being happy about the Trickster defensive layer. But as I was, was it these things? I think it was those things, the little Magmorphs explosions. Probably didn't suppress. I think those are spell. I'm not 100% sure, but I think those are qualified as a spell. I also, since I dropped Period of Elements, I don't have shock immunity anymore until I pick up Tempest Shield, which I probably should have put on instead of Herald of Ash or Herald of Ice. But Herald of Ice I also just like because it just looks like it looks cool, like aesthetically. So I'm just an enjoyer of it. Right here is an example of a phys-based boss. Like, if this guy hit me, I think he'd get close to one-shotting me, maybe. But this guy's, like, bugged out. He also has to actually connect the hit, which isn't going to happen too often for bosses like this. I probably didn't sell you guys too much on this character, but I really enjoyed it. I don't think I'm gonna make a Leaguestart guide on it unless it gets some buffs and patch notes. Mostly because I think I'm gonna do just one Leaguestart guide based on the character I'm actually want to start. I want to try keep consistent with that. I've done a lot of Leaguestart tests. I've done Stormbind. I like Stormbind a good amount. I liked Pyroclast a lot. I liked RF. RF, I just love RF as a skill. This build honestly kind of convinced me a lot of how good this sort of build can be with a Trickster, with all these good masteries. It's like such a densely packed high value tree. It feels really good. Everything you're picking up feels like it's powerful and really relevant. But I just want to make one guy based on the build I'm going to decide on, which I'm going to make that decision probably after patch notes tonight. I'll be streaming it and looking through the stuff that see what's the winners, what's the losers, what got buffed, what got nerfed, see all that sort of stuff. But yeah, that's what I'll be waiting for. This is Trickster with Frostblades. I really like this character from playing it on this Leaguestart test. I might have to make a Trickster Frostblade character in League with actual like trade gear, make a pretty good character. I think I could make it for pretty cheap and do pretty competitive damage. We would see. I'd have to try it out and stuff, but all in all, I'm pretty impressed with Trickster. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thanks for watching, Exiles. Hopefully you guys are excited about patch notes and maybe your builds get buffed that you're excited about playing. And yeah, take care, Exiles. Thanks for watching. Peace out.